Ryan, you first here as we're 23 hours or so removed from Pelosi's announcement. Now we have 3 Democratic House members who've made it official. They are running for leadership roles. Take us through that. And do we know when the leadership elections are going to take place?
Yeah, I think more than anything, Alex, this shows us just how anxious this new generation of leadership, as Nancy Pelosi called it yesterday on the House floor, is ready to take on this new role. And Hakeem Jeffries is the leader of this pack. He would be the first African-American leader of any party in Congress, House or Senate. And he's being joined so far by Catherine Clark, who's asked her colleagues for the privilege of being the Democratic whip, and Pete Aguilar of California, who's asking for their support to be the conference chair. Now, all of this comes over the course of many weeks of wondering what Nancy Pelosi was going to do with her future. Would she stay? Would she go? And I don't think anyone, at least not up until the last minute, thought that she would deliver the speech that she did yesterday, which is where she announced that she'd step away from leadership, but stay in Congress in sort of an emeritus role to help guide this new generation of leadership to the next stage. And to answer your other question, Alex, we expect these leadership elections to take place after the Thanksgiving recess over the course of November 30th into December 1st. At this point, it doesn't look like there's going to be a ton of drama, that these 3 have consolidated support. There is some other names that have been sprinkled in there as possible challengers. But at this point, it seems as though these are the 3 that are going to be the next crop of Democratic leaders. And Democrats need to stay unified because the margins are so tight. Maybe just a 5 to 7.
Vaughn Hilliard, I see that you are joining us now as well with some of your new reporting, too. Walk us through it.
Yeah, so Donald Trump in Donald Trump fashion called up Fox News just a little bit ago here and provided some additional comments here about the special counsel being named here. And I just read you some of the quotes here from what Fox News is posting online, in which Donald Trump says, quote, "I am not going to partake in it. I'm not going to partake in this." He referenced how comes just days after his 2024 announcement. The other quote that, of course, here is notable is, quote, "The Republican Party has to stand up and fight," which is the sentiments that he has continued to push. And as long as he remains the center focus of these investigations, he's going to be looking at Republicans to rally against him, much like they did after the Mar-a-Lago search warrant execution there, Hallie. And when you're talking about the investigation surrounding January 6th and Donald Trump's potential role in it, take into account that just 2 months ago, those 40 subpoenas coming from the Department of Justice to individuals around Donald Trump could lend credence to the idea that there is more that has been gained here from the Department of Justice over just the last 2 months. A subpoena was never issued to Donald Trump himself, though, of course, of note. But just last week is when the January 6th Select Committee up on Capitol Hill was set to receive not only testimony, but also documents from Donald Trump. After going back and forth, Trump and his team, they ultimately did not cooperate. They filed a counter lawsuit, essentially, to try to halt the subpoena efforts of the January 6th committee. The committee now says that they are looking as to what potential next steps they may take. Of course, they are a little less politically deferential to Donald Trump. And so the question is, would they refer him for potentially contempt to the Department of Justice? Of course, that would be the Department of Justice to determine whether they would take that step there. But Donald Trump obviously indicating that he has no intention to work with DOJ investigators, the January 6th committee. Over the next course of the month and a half, we're expecting hostilities to only rise. Hallie?
Some folks on Twitter trying to put a little fun in funeral. Many users saying that these are their last tweets. You likely have seen a little bit of this morning, prompting the hashtag RIP Twitter to trend worldwide. All of this, of course, a reaction to what's happening at the company. Just the latest, of course, these mass resignations.
Hundreds of Twitter's remaining staff opted for 3-month severance instead of committing to Musk's demand that they commit to a extremely hardcore work environment. But if you ask new owner Elon Musk, all the activity yesterday was life-giving in his view. CNN's Camila Bernal is live outside Twitter's headquarters in San Francisco. Camila, what's the latest we know on the numbers of how many folks left, how many remain, but also how that affects key functions in this company, including trying to keep a lid on disinformation being spread on the website?
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. Good morning, Jim and Erica. Look, it's impossible to know exactly how many people have left, how many are leaving, or even how many have stayed, because, of course, the company, Twitter, does not even have a communications department. So we're, of course, waiting for Elon Musk to tell us, and it's really unpredictable when it comes to Elon Musk. But we do know that there are a number of employees who are posting goodbye messages on Twitter and even on the company's Slack channel. My colleague Oliver Darcy spoke to a former Twitter executive who described it as a mass exodus, and you talked about the hashtag RIP Twitter. There are so many people, employees, former employees, and just Twitter users who are using this hashtag, many of them actually putting out heartfelt messages and emotional messages about the company and what all of this means to them, while others, yes, posting the jokes and the memes. And that even includes Elon Musk, who posted some of these memes. But I also want to show you another tweet that he posted last night where he said, "And we just hit another all-time high in Twitter usage. Laugh out loud. Let that sink in." And look, yes, you might have very high Twitter usage, but Elon Musk is going to need money, whether that comes from advertisers or people paying for the usage of Twitter. And he needs a lot of these key employees to stay. He has to convince at least some of these employees to stay with the company or bring in new engineers. We do not know what the future holds for this company, but we know that the offices today, they will remain closed. Jim, Erica.
Now, Japanese and South Korean officials say North Korea has fired what is suspected to be an intercontinental ballistic missile, its second launch in 2 days, as Pyongyang continues to heighten tension. The Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said it's thought to have landed in the sea about 200 kilometres off the island of Hokkaido. Our Seoul correspondent Jean McKenzie has more information on the type of missiles launched.
We've actually had a record year of missile testing here by the North Koreans, particularly over the last few months, but most of them have been short-range missiles. These long-range missile tests of ICBMs are far rarer. Now, these are the missiles which directly threaten the United States because they are designed to be able to carry warheads all the way to the US mainland, and we've seen that in this launch today. In the range that it displayed, we know that it would potentially be capable of reaching the US mainland. Now, the North Koreans are working to improve their missiles, including their ICBM technology. We know they have been working to develop a new, bigger ICBM than it has successfully tested in the past, but we don't know exactly what version of the missile it has tested today. We may get more details from the North Koreans in the coming days, and we may be able to glean a little more then about whether or not it's made progress with this test.
Jean McKenzie in Seoul.
But we begin with a weather alert for millions of people. The National Weather Service is forecasting, quote, historic snowfall in western New York.
People from Buffalo to Rochester could be in store for more than 4 feet of snow. Snow began to fall yesterday and will persist through the day. Forecasters say it could damage infrastructure and even, quote, paralyze the communities hardest hit by the storm. The mayor of Buffalo said today a driving ban has been reimposed across the southern part of the city.
We have been incredibly hard hit in South Buffalo, where snow continues to come down. We want no driving whatsoever in that area of the city so the plows can do their work.
CBS News correspondent Tanya Rivero joins us now from Buffalo, New York. So, Tanya, what are the conditions like right now?
Well, hi, Elaine and Michelle. The conditions of this storm have been changing considerably from moment to moment throughout the day. Right now, we're in a relatively calm moment, but the squalls come in very quickly and cause a big change in those conditions. We've been seeing a lot of plowing going on. Behind me, you can see a big mound of snow. There are a lot of those all around the city as the city tries to get things relatively back to normal.
Tanya, I know that the governor was in New York City late Wednesday. She was very concerned about this storm and what it could mean over the next several days. Right now, we know that some 11 counties are in a state of emergency. How else are New York officials responding to this storm?
The city's been on top of this. You know, they had a big storm similar to this 8 years ago. They say they learned a lot of lessons from that storm. They installed a driving ban early. That's still in effect in a lot of cities in Erie County. The thing about this storm is that the conditions are changing very much from city to city. So the driving ban remains in place in some cities, and it's been lifted from others. And the storm looks like it's coming back around to Buffalo later this afternoon, for instance. So they may instill the driving ban again here. For the most part, we've been talking to residents, and they say they've been pretty pleased with the way state officials, county officials have been dealing with this storm. Pretty much the city is closed down and the plows are out on the road taking care of the snow.
Well, Tanya, experts say this November storm is the result of what's called lake effect snow. Can you just explain to viewers what that is?
Sure. It's interesting. Lake effect storms occur when cold, dry, polar air, in this case coming from Canada, crosses over warm, open, large bodies of water, so in this case across the Great Lakes. Then that moisture gets sucked up into the air almost like a sponge, creating these swollen thunderstorm clouds that then move over the land and dump tons of snow. I have to tell you, last night in our hotel, we experienced the bulk of it. There was thunder, there was lightning, there were windows shaking. It was pretty impressive, I have to say. That could still happen again. The storm is coming back around, and officials say we are still on pace to see 5 feet of snow by Sunday.
5 feet. Well, Tanya, stay safe out there. Both Elaine and I know firsthand what it's like to be. Remember those 10 feet
Yes.
we covered about 10 years ago?
Absolutely.
So
do.
please take care.
This is CBS News Flash. I'm Dan Lieberman in New York. The family of Gabby Petito, the 22-year-old found dead last year in Wyoming, was awarded $3 million in a wrongful death lawsuit against the estate of her fiancé, Brian Laundrie, who died by suicide. Petito's family says any money will go to the Gabby Petito Foundation. A federal judge in California will decide today the fate of Elizabeth Holmes, the 38-year-old founder of the failed blood testing startup Theranos. Ms. Holmes faces a maximum of 20 years in prison, but her lawyers have requested 18 months of house arrest. The man charged with killing 10 people and injuring more than a dozen others at a Buffalo supermarket earlier this year is expected to plead guilty to all 25 counts and state charges. He also faces federal hate crime charges. For more news, download the CBS News app on your cell phone or connected TV. I'm Dan Lieberman, CBS News, New York.